We have some breaking news here on the Raiders Report. The Las Vegas Raiders are planning on signing free agent wide receiver DeSean Jackson. If that news makes you put a smile on your face, then all I want you to do is go ahead and like the video because I'm with you. The move of going out and getting Jackson does make me happy. And, man, this has been an emotional week. And Week 9 was an emotional game when the Raiders lost 23-16. And this is just one of these things that's really going to help out the offense from top to bottom, even in plays where Jackson doesn't touch the ball, and he's not going to be able to fully replace Henry Ruggs. But you're looking for somebody who's got elite speed, and that's exactly what Jackson has been able to show since he has come into the league in 2008. He's going to be able to open up a lot of things down the field. He's going to open up some of those intermediate routes for Darren Waller, Hunter Renfrow, Zay Jones. It doesn't matter. He's going to open up stuff for the running game. Josh Jacobs, Kenyon Drake thought they played great today, but this move of Jackson is more of a good move for the overall entire offense, and it's really going to help Derek Carr as well. So let me know down in the comments, and I want every single one of y'all, what is your one-word reaction to the Raiders going out and signing DeSean Jackson? So let me know. I appreciate everyone who's tuned in. My one-word reaction is speed, and it's simply because Jackson's going to bring speed to this offense. There's going to be no more bracket coverage over the top. The Giants were laughing when the Raiders tried to throw the ball deep because they're like, nobody can beat us deep. And if nobody can beat you deep, then your quarterbacks are just going to play up close to you, and then they're going to stack it, and that takes away all the intermediate routes. That also helps this Raiders team. So my one-word reaction, it is speed. And, I mean, look at this yards per catch throughout Jackson's entire career. I get it. He's 34 years old. He's getting up there in age, but he's averaging 27.6 yards per catch this season. Last year, 16.9. 2019, 17.7. 2018, 18.9. He had a career low at 13.4. Okay, that's fine, but that's so many years ago. I am looking at the most recent. I also think this has a lot to do with the offenses that he's been put in. When Jackson, throughout his entire career, he's bounced around on many, many different teams, from the Rams, the Washington football team, Philly, the Bucks. It has never mattered. He is going to be a player that can stretch the field, use his speed to his ability, and then that's going to open up things for his other teammates. And one of the great things that this offense was doing, led by Derek Carr and definitely led by Henry Ruggs as well, was taking the top off of defenses. And I always say, show me those TDs. Well, guess what? There was a lot of TDs being shown because tops were getting ripped off on this offense. And now what you didn't have up against the Giants, you didn't have a deep threat, and that really hurt you. Now you have somebody who's been able to do it and do it very well for his entire career. What about most touchdowns of 60-plus yards? DeSean Jackson is the leader in NFL history. He's got 26 touchdowns of 60-plus yards. Second place, Jerry Rice, maybe you've heard of him. Devin Hester coming in at 21. Well, what about most touchdowns of 80-plus yards? Again, the leader here, DeSean Jackson, and he's tied with Jerry Rice, Lance Allworth, Bob Hayes, and then Derek Alexander. From top to bottom, he's going to be able to stretch the field. He's going to open up things for Derek Carr, and I am really excited about this move because I don't think it's us hitting the panic button. I honestly think us hitting the panic button is going out and looking for somebody like OBJ. Now, we got some more stuff that we'll talk about here with Beckham, and if anything else happens this week, man, I'm telling you, we're going to be making videos about it. So to make sure that you never miss any Raiders news, don't miss the watch parties either. We do them every single Sunday. I'm going to be live on Tuesday, 6 p.m. Eastern Time, 3 p.m. Pacific. Tomorrow's going to be my Monday overreaction video. I love the silver and black, and I think Raider Nation is the most passionate fan base that I have personally ever been around. I'm going to try to bring that energy. I'm going to try to match it as well. Let's get to 100,000 subs. We're about 5,000 away. So if you haven't yet, please just sub, baby. So here's the look at the Raiders wide receiver depth chart. At least this is what I think it could be, what you're going to be looking at when they go up against the Kansas City Chiefs. Bryan Edwards, Zay Jones, Hunter Renfrow. Those are going to still be your top three receivers. We'll see if Dylan Stoner gets promoted again. Jackson's going to get some run, but this week, probably the matchup to watch at practice, and I'm going to be watching reports very, very closely about what Derek Carr, what Rich Bicacca, what Greg Olsen all have to say about Jackson, because I'm excited that Jackson's on this team, and he's going to be able to stretch that field, but I also know this. The player that the Raiders coaches and Carr loved the most on the entire team, it's probably Zay Jones. And for whatever reason, Zay's a good kid. works his tail off. People are always like, oh, he's the hardest worker. He does this, he does that. And that's great. And I love guys that show up to practice that every single time they're there, you're like, you know what? He's going to give me 110%. Like, that's what it's all about. However, when it comes to winning football games, when it comes to putting the most talent out on the field, far too often, I found the old Gruden regime was, you know what, we're going to play the guys that we like. We're going to go out and play the guys that we think are doing the right things at practice. The issue with that sometimes is this. You got to play the best players out there. So here's my question. If you're talking about, you know, Bryan Edwards is going to be out there. I know Renfrow is going to be in the slot. Waller's going to be the tight end. So who's going to be that other guy that can step up? To me, it's between Zay Jones and it's between DeSean Jackson. So I want you guys to let me know down in the comments right now which receiver is the better one and which receiver do you want to see on the field more Sunday Night Football up against the Chiefs. ZJ for Zay Jones, DJ for DeSean Jackson. I am terrible with music, but I'm going to go ahead and start spitting DJ because he should absolutely be on the field a little bit more. Now, if anybody wants to bet on the Raiders and you're like, bet on the Raiders, they just lost to the Giants. Guess what, man? Anything can happen on any Sunday. The Buffalo Bills, they lost to the Jacksonville Jaguars this week. The Bengals lost to the Jets last week as well. Like, at the end of the day, anything can happen in the league. But what I do want you guys to do is be able to get some extra money in your pocket. So I want you to list it up. Chatsports.com/Raiders. Promo code Raiders125. That gets you 125% deposit bonus. So when you put down $100, you get $125 for free to bet with. And cherry on top, if you at least make one $5 bet, just make a $5 bet. Again, it's new customers only at BetUS. We're going to hook you up with a free Raiders jersey. Yes, I said free. So we got Derek Carr, Darren Waller, Josh Jacobs, and then who's the last jersey? Max Crosby. How can I forget Mad Max? So email us jersey@chatsports.com if all the things that I just said there went right over your head, or chatsports.com/Raiders. Deposit $100, get $125 for free, and then send me a screenshot of your account number and a first bet you made to jersey@chatsports.com. Now, I love Zay. I really do. Love Zay. But DeSean Jackson is clearly the better receiver when you're just looking at overall talent, and I legitimately think fit in this offense. Now, is Zay going to be able to pick up a clutch first down or two? Sure, absolutely. And the addition of DeSean Jackson helps players like Zay Jones, who don't have elite speed, but really try to beat people based on their route running and intermediate route ability. But Jackson this season, 7 games, 8 catches, 221 yards, the long of 75. And on that 75-yard touchdown catch, according to Next Gen Stats, they said that that was the highest speed that he's been able to hit since 2016. So everyone out there is like, oh, he's 34, he's washed up. Well, guess what? He's still being able to hit over 20 miles per hour, which is redunculous for somebody at 34. And then his entire career, 620 catches, over 10,000 yards, the yards per catch, the touchdowns. I am going to believe that Rich Bicacca, that Greg Olsen, heck, even Gus Bradley, who is the defensive coordinator, they're going to be able to go and they're going to be able to get veterans and they're going to be able to bring them in. Because if I was Jackson, which he absolutely has, talked to probably a lot of people, his agents included, probably looking around the league like, all right, if I was a veteran, where could I go right now to potentially help my career? I think the Raiders are a phenomenal choice. I mean, think about it. Last season, they brought in Nelson Agholor. Not that he was a veteran, but everyone was like, oh, he's washed up. He can't do this, can't do that. Derek Carr and the Raiders totally transcend Nelson Agholor. And look at what Agholor's doing now. He's doing nothing on New England. And then, now you have all the things that they did on the defensive side of the football. Bringing in vets. Oh, this guy's washed up. This guy's washed up. Well, guess what? They're still performing. Right now, the Raiders are being able to show they're able to bring in some vets, help teach some of these young guys, put them into their system, and it's working out very, very well. Now, the other side of this conversation is this. The Raiders planning on signing DeSean Jackson. A lot of people are like, well, what does that mean for OBJ? Odell Beckham Jr. was released by the Cleveland Browns. He is scheduled to hit waivers on Monday. So just like the Raiders, and everyone put in or didn't put in a claim for DeSean Jackson, if Las Vegas wants a shot at Odell, they will have to put in a claim. If they end up wanting him, it's going to be $7.25 million they will need. Now, I understand that the Raiders moved some money around with Jalen Richard earlier in the week. I think it was $1.06 million. They moved away from Richard's cap this year to then create a little bit more room. I personally think that extra cap room was more for it was more for DeSean Jackson than OBJ. But the Raiders report is about, obviously, giving the analysis, breaking news, having a good old time. At the end of the day, I want my shows to be like you and me sitting down at a restaurant, just chopping it up, talking football. And I guarantee you, out of everything I've asked you today, this is going to be the most popular question on today's video. So please make sure you get your votes in here. If you could only pick one, okay, let's just say, hypothetically speaking, the Raiders still haven't gone out and gotten Jackson, and it was on the table. Would you rather DeSean Jackson at probably, let's say, $2.5 million a year, or would you rather Odell Beckham Jr. at $7.25 million? Because that's what the conversation is. If we're talking about just talent and talent alone, I said it last week, the answer is OBJ still has more talent than DeSean Jackson. But bang for your buck and fit in the offense, and me not being worried whether or not who's going to be bitching about getting targets and whatnot, I have more confidence in DeSean Jackson being able to hold down the fort and actually keep this glue that what the Raiders have. OBJ, he is a big-time diva. More talented, but the answer, I really do believe, is DeSean Jackson. So I'm going to type my D. Now, here's some of Jackson's numbers over the last 5 seasons. He's definitely battled some injuries. This, in 2020, 14 grabs, 236 and a touchdown. 2019, only 159 yards, 2 touchdowns. But what I'm going to show you guys is simply when he's been able to be on the field, and I actually think from what I've seen so far this year in the tape, I thought Jackson has looked good. And I'm confident in his ability to be able to step onto the field in Week 10 and really give the Chiefs a run for their money. And I get it. Today sucked. Like, I hate losing. Probably even more than I like winning. And when you're coming off a game where you're like, man, the Raiders are a better team than the Giants. Now, the Giants' defense played well. You got to tip the cap, the whole thing there. But this team is still first place in their division. If the playoffs were to end today, they'd be the number 3 seed. So, like, you're 5-3. You'd be the 3 seed in the playoffs. Yeah, sure, you're coming off a loss, but now you're going to be licking your chops going up against the Kansas City Chiefs on Sunday Night Football. If that doesn't motivate you, check your pulse, man, because this is going to be the biggest game for the Raiders the entire season. No doubt about it. Now, the Titans, they still have yet to play this week. You got the Ravens, they're 6-2 after their win. The Raiders are sitting there at 5-3. The Bills lost 9-6 to the Jags. I don't know what the hell happened there. The Pittsburgh Steelers are still at 4-3. Last time I checked, the Chargers, they're still playing right now. And then the Patriots, they're sitting there at 5-4. So, a lot of stuff can happen. The season is still very young, and a lot of people are going to sit here and be like, oh, the Raiders are panicking. That's why they went out and got Jackson after a 23-16 game. I disagree with that. They saw a need. They realized that they need a receiver, and that's what they did. They went out and got him. So what do you guys think about this? Jackson currently has 221 receiving yards. That's the number that he's at right now. What's going to be the number that he finishes with? How many receiving yards will DeSean Jackson finish with? Please go ahead, let me know. Take your best guesses. Remember, we are in Week 10. We still got a few games to go. It's going to be a long year. We're going to be breaking it all down for you here at the Raiders Report. But before I go, how many receiving yards for DeSean Jackson this year?